Mikasa Sukasa. You Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Look like Eddie Guerrero, man. You like to watch wrestling?
Yep.
Have you ever watched wrestling? On weed? That's the way to see it, man! It's rock!
What up, world? It's your boy Physics, and you know what time it is. It's the last day of February, going into the greatest month of all time. It is March. Shout out to all the Aries, and welcome to another WoW news joint. On today's episode, we're talking about the potential return of Vince McMahon to the ring, a Bobby Lashley update, some AEW news, and more right after this.
This is my yard now. It doesn't matter what
Welcome back, world. If you're watching this on a replay, make sure to leave comments on anything you hear doing this. and I'll be sure to get right back to you. Shout out to the Wild Nation that's up in here. Shout out to the homie Grusta, super villain of the IWC is in the building. But let's get to the first news joint of the day, and that is Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee. Now, this past Friday, it was announced that Vince McMahon will be on an upcoming Thursday show for the Pat McAfee show, live next Thursday at noon. The chairman of WWE will be there, and you can catch that joint on YouTube. But this is not just your regular interview. There's going to be a lot more, because it was reported about post wrestling that the two will start a program which will include at WrestleMania. When asking the source if their involvement at the show was going to be billed as an official match, Post stated most likely. McMahon, at 76 years old, last had a match at WrestleMania 26 in 2010, where he lost to Bret Hart in a no holds barred match, which we all know it was not good at all. He also engaged in a brawl with CM Punk in 2012 and took a headbutt from Kevin Owens in 2017, in which we all thought that that man was about to perish that night. McAfee originally started as an announcer for NXT and later had a match with Adam Cole at NXT TakeOver 30 in August of 2020. That match was a banger, with Cole getting a win. That was followed by a War Games match with the Undisputed Era, defeating Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. Another banger that Pat McAfee was a part of. Last April, McAfee moved to the SmackDown brand, where he has become a color commentary with Michael Cole. Turns out McMahon will take little, if any, bumps when he takes on Pat McAfee in Dallas at WrestleMania 38. Dean Meltzer reported on F4WOnline.com that it will be a smoke and mirrors match. Basically, expect to see things happening around the match. This will most likely mean that there will be interference with someone else taking bumps for McMahon. This will be similar to what they did for Bret Hart's match with McMahon at WrestleMania 2010. It will be logical to have Austin Theory involved to help McMahon, because the story has been playing out is that Theory is doing things that he hopes will impress the boss. Meltzer noted that WWE is doing some out-of-box things more than usual this year, because they have more than 20,000 unsold tickets for both Mania nights. That means Laylo and Two-Face, who are thinking about going, there's 2 tickets out of that 20,000 with your name on it. In addition to McMahon versus McAfee, there are also plans for Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens in Stone Cold's home state of Texas. Now, shout out to Kid Get Money, shout out to Laylo that are in the building. Yeah, we know as Laylo says, Austin Theory is fighting McAfee. Yes, we all know that, and I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, right now, Pat McAfee is going 2 for 2 when it comes to his matches in NXT, and now he's moving it to WWE. Right now they're just bringing nothing but more eyes to the product. I really feel like, though, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, you need to get it now, because once Stone Cold gets involved, those tickets are going to sell out. I feel like there's going to be a trickle of tickets being sold with Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon, but we all know where the ticket buying is. And I feel like people are kind of waiting to see if this is actually going to happen, and they're going to make their way to that. Laylo says Vince would die. Yes, he would, but I'm going to guarantee you Vince is going to take some type of bump. He's going to do something. That man is crazy. We all know that. He is probably slightly signed to CTE Records. So, it is what it is. But Pat McAfee, Austin Theories, I expect it to be a really decent match. They're really bringing in, although he is a celebrity outside of WWE, they really seem to be bringing in everything. We already got the, Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn going on. Logan Paul is now involved. Like, they are really going big as far as everything going down with outside stars to bring in more eyes to the cock. So They're gonna make sure that this is the biggest thing that they've done on the Peacock Network, because it just seems like that's where they're going to. Every single thing is to bring outsider eyes even more than usual when it comes to WrestleMania, because they got too nice to fill, and they're filling it with outside power at the moment. So here we go. Laylo says, that's why I don't care about the show. Too many celebrities. But you want a Pat McAfee match. You're Pat McAfee's biggest fan when it comes to being in the ring. You want that McAfee action, Laylo. So I get it. Logan Paul, nah. Johnny Knoxville, he's gonna take some bumps. So I'm just more interested to see what is he gonna get thrown off of, because he's gonna get thrown off of something. And like, is Wee Man gonna get involved? It's gonna get crazy when it comes to that match. That's gonna be a no holds bar match. They're gonna probably be all over the Dallas arena. Who's jumping off the Dallas Jumbotron? Who knows? We will see. But moving on, because this is a light news day. Not much has gone on. Feel like things are going to pick up, especially after tonight. But now to our next segment, an update on Bobby Lashley's health. Bobby Lashley is currently out of action with a legitimate shoulder injury during his match with Brock Lesnar at WWE Royal Rumble last month. If he does get surgery, then he's out for at least 4 months. WWE did an angle at Elimination Chamber event where they removed him from the WWE title match, where it was stated he suffered a concussion. This allowed Brock Lesnar to win the title. WWE seemingly pulled him from next Saturday's Madison Square Garden show as Lesnar is advertised to defend the WWE Championship against an unnamed opponent, as Lashley had been originally advertised to face Lesnar. If I had to guess, I would not be surprised if that unnamed opponent is AJ Styles. Ringside News reports they were told Lashley is trying to get medically clear, not only for MSG, but for WrestleMania. He did undergo medical testings for his shoulders with WWE doctors in Birmingham, Alabama. This comes after reports earlier last week that WrestleMania 38 plans are still very fluid and creative is leaving space in nearly every storyline to allow major flexibility. When it comes to that, I would say this: just get healthy. There's no need to rush. I know you really want to be a part of this one, but don't do something to the point where Lashley, you get in, you re-injure it, is a lot worse than before, and you're out longer than 4 months. I mean, you do 4 months, that takes you all the way to July. You could come back for SummerSlam. You still have a big pay-per-view, and you can return back for a big pay-per-view. I would say, if it needs be, if you don't need to get the surgery and you could be healthy by the time WrestleMania comes by, then do your PT and go from there. But if there's a chance you could re-aggravate it, it can get worse. Surgery, rest, see you in 4 months. And who knows, it could be less than that. I mean, you might have the healing powers of Wolverine / John Cena. And if you do, it could be a lot faster than that. So just get better. Now let's move to some AEW news. According to Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer, the Young Bucks are expected to announce the date of the first ever AEW show in Southern California on today's episode of BTE. For what it's worth, the story going around the wrestling world is that the show would be held at the Forum in Inglewood, California, because as you know, Inglewood always up to no good. Even Hollywood trying to get a little piece of that, baby. Sacramento, where you at? The Forum, which once hosted games for the Showtime Los Angeles Lakers, was purchased by Los Angeles Clipper owner Steve Ballmer in March 2020. Meltzer pointing out that the Forum has historically been a tough building to draw, as WWE drew only 8,000 fans with Brock Lesnar advertised 7 years ago. WWE hasn't run a show in that building since. Even WWE is scared of the Forum. Although WCW sold out the Forum several times in 98 and 99, No pro wrestling show has particularly drawn big at the venue since. According to Fightful Select, AEW has considered the forum as a venue for Double or Nothing pay-per-view on May 29th before finalizing on the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. As noted earlier, in addition to the pay-per-view, AEW will be tipping episodes of Dynamite and Rampage in Las Vegas in May, which I announced on last Friday's show. A few years ago, Young Bucks teased the possibility of AEW hosting a show at the Toyota Arena in Ontario, California. However, the show never materialized. Now, as I stated on last Friday's episode, now that they can do this show, Brian Danielson can officially do shows in California, which means the next Bola PWG event, he will be there. He wasn't allowed to be at the last one because they have not. Tony Khan told me you cannot do it because we have not went to that territory, and we do not want the first match in California to not be with us. So once he gets this out the way, any California promotion that wants Bryan Danielson's service can have it. So when Bola comes around, Battle of Los Angeles, expect Bryan Danielson to be there and expect a bunch of banger matches because, I mean, that's what he wants. That's one of the things he wanted to do. And of course, we all know that he wants to be a part of the G1, but that one is still up in the air with outside things that the whole world is dealing with at this moment and getting the okay from Tony Khan. But at least we know, and the possibility, at least we know in the soon to be future, we will see Bryan Danielson in PWG Bola. What we got here? Gruss says, rumor has the Fiend returning at WrestleMania. That'd be interesting because when isn't the last time we saw the Fiend at WrestleMania and just have a big ass box and then he returns? And this whole thing was a long storyline for a whole year. That'd be ridiculous. That would, I mean, it would be crazy. It would be kind of smart, but it would be super ridiculous if that was the case. And I know a lot of people would then be soured on him because they're like, we put so much into you, man. Why would you do that? And it was because it's like you got work, if that's the possibility. But I don't see that anytime soon. Is a Kid Get Money says Physics and Gruss get their rumors from two different places. Yeah, I go for news sources. Russ just goes off the head. Russell Westbrook, that's just what he does, man. He gets his Lakers on. Shout out to the Mavs. Appreciate y'all. Now it's time for some quick hits. Russell Volk claims Undertaker going to the Hall of Fame as a solo inductee this year was considered, but it's not happening. More names will apparently be announced for this year's class soon. I wouldn't have liked that to be the case, whereas, although, the WWF is the Undertaker and the Undertaker is the WWF, spread the love. And I don't know if, Mark Calloway, BKA, Undertaker would have liked to just been having all of this praise on him. I mean, he's not Hulk Hogan. So he's a lot more humble than that. PW Insider noted there was hope internally for Asuka to return this month, but there's been nothing for her creatively. As I said in past episodes, Asuka and Bayley were two people that they wanted to have after the Royal Rumble. There were rumors that Asuka was backstage for the Royal Rumble, and we haven't seen her yet. They don't have any storyline for her yet, so they're not bringing her up until they do, which I respect. Don't have her up there doing nothing other than chilling and catering. So I am not mad at that. Per Fightful Select, we've been seeing Big E on a four-reeler recently because WWE and Mattel have a new toy coming out soon. Of course, the six-man tornado tag team tag match at Revolution was changed according to Fightful Select. The original match wasn't going to include Isaiah Cassidy and Sammy Guevara, but they weren't given a reason why the change was made. Interesting. Kota Ibushi's comeback from injury is on hold. New Japan Pro Wrestling announced early today that Ibushi has been pulled from his 50th anniversary show on Tuesday in the New Japan Cup tournament. Kota Ibushi has not wrestled since he suffered a shoulder injury that abruptly ended the G1 Climax final last October. There's no status on when he returned. That man takes hella bumps, very dangerous bumps, especially when it comes to his neck and shoulder area. Don't rush it. Heal as much as you can. I mean, you have one of the thickest necks in wrestling, but even then, you can still get hurt. So take as much time as you can. I can only imagine how beat up his body is. As great as he looks internally, he might just be screaming the whole time. It's the same thing with Kenny. Once you hear that Kenny interview, it sounds like that man his body is an old man. As great shape he is and what he was doing in the ring, the man said he could barely walk, and he didn't want to get to the level of being like how the wrestlers were in the 90s and early 2000s, being hooked on painkillers the whole time for them to be able to wrestle. He didn't want to perk Angle it up. I know Kurt Angle hates that, but he did not want to get a part. He doesn't want to be a part of that. So I am not mad at it. But let's go to what's happening tonight in the world of wrestling. We are still on the road to WrestleMania 38, and it will continue tonight as WWE Raw airs live from the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. And I hope you know that they're on your side. For tonight's Raw, the lineup is the road to WrestleMania continues. WWE United States Champion Damian Priest goes against the Prince, Finn Balor, RK Bro, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens, and Raw Tag Team Champions Alpha Academy prepare for that triple threat title match the following week. And WWE Hall of Famer Edge addresses his WrestleMania future, which means he's most likely picking who he's going to face. And I wouldn't be surprised it is somebody that is so phenomenal, because we all know the match that I want to see is Edge versus AJ Styles. So make sure if you tune in to Raw, check it out, enjoy, but also follow Laylo as he breaks down and reviews everything that happened on Raw the next day for those blunt ratings. Also, what we got here, we have, I miss Asuka so much from Laylo. She carried Raw for 6 months. Now they can't find anything for her. I'm gonna say when it comes to that, I feel like they just don't want to place her there and then just be run over by, well, most likely Ronda Rousey. We already seen Ronda Rousey versus Asuka, which was great. But if I had to guess, we will see her the night after WrestleMania. I would say there will be another match. We're going to get 2 matches of Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair wins at WrestleMania. She beats her at Raw. And then, we're going to need a new challenge for Bianca Belair. And that new challenge would be Asuka. They could do a program for the next few months. And I wouldn't be mad at it. Or you save them for Asuka versus Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. But you got to kind of get Becky Lynch out the way. So Becky Lynch is in the way right now, and you gotta get her out the way. That's just it. And Ronda just got to do her thing on SmackDown. So there we go. Laylo says, see y'all tomorrow for show. So make sure to hit those blunt ratings. It's your boy Physics. Thank y'all for being here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with me, and I appreciate you for that. I will see y'all on Wednesday. Enjoy wrestling tonight and enjoy life. See you till then.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to know when we go live next. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling on We, and thanks for watching.